सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। विद्यायां सच्चिदानन्दाः अखण्डैकरसात्मताम् प्राप्य भान्ति न भेदेन भेदकोपाधिवर्जनात्। Yeah. So, having described some techniques to contemplate upon the truth of oneself, Brahman, as Satchidananda, and contemplate upon the truth of oneself as obtaining in the things around us and also in the various states of mind within and the things without. Having done that, and also talking about how meditating upon Sat separately, Chit separately, and then Ananda in the Shanta Vritti, for example, is what is called, a piecemeal contemplation. If that's what one is able to do, no problem, and this is a very good way to begin. This is a wonderful way to begin, but really speaking, what does one need to do? One needs to get to the place of committing to pursue the self-knowledge, whereby what happens? Whereby Audasinyam is gained. What is Audasinyam? Vairagya. Viveka and Vairagya are gained. Dispassion is gained. As a result of this dispassion, other pursuits and the penchant for getting connected or addicted to various moods and modalities of the mind go away. And then in this, there is when this understanding and this commitment is reached as a result of the self-knowledge, the clarity grows, and in that clarity one is able to see oneself as Satchit Ananda without depending upon the vritti. And then, that is what he is going to tell later, right now in this verse. But then what he did say is that these meditative techniques or these contemplative techniques are really ways are really ways to make the knowledge stable within oneself. They are not meditations, they are contemplations designed to assimilate the knowledge better. This is what it was said. And so then what's the difference between meditation and contemplation? Meditation is what is called antaranga sadhana, a practice which firms the mind or which prepares the mind. And how does the practice of meditation prepare the mind? Because it allows you to have a say over the mind. It increases samadhanam or focus, because you make the mind think of the same thing again and again and again. Same thing is contemplated upon. What is that? To meditated upon. What is that? Om Namah Shivaya. What is the next thought? Om Namah Shivaya. What's the thought after that? Why am I doing this? Correct? No. What's the thought after that? Om Namah Shivaya. And the fourth thought, Om Namah Shivaya. Om Namah Shivaya. So this is, we create an artificial sajatiya vritti pravaha, a flow of thought, pravaha, flow of thoughts, which are of the same nature. Correct? So the same thought again and again. Sajatiya vritti pravaha. And here you introduce the sajatiya vritti pravaha to gain concentration. The mind has its own way of not so much searching. Mind has a way of positing a parallel sajatiya vritti pravaha in its own sense. That's why even though you say, why did I think of, Bonda when I thought of Honda? There is no reason. No, there is no reason to think of Bonda when you think of Honda. But there is a rhyme, correct? They say without rhyme or reason, but there is something. There is a rhyme there. There may not be a reason. So the mind, when you talk of Honda and you think of Bonda, immediately the mind has already made its own sajatiya vritti pravaha, where the mind wanders. And here in the Kathopanishad we are seeing how the mind grazes along with the sense organs. So this is where the mind wanders in the pasture of all these thoughts. So here what am I telling the mind? You apprentice under me, the witness. The witness with Viveka and Vairagya, you apprentice under me. You don't go behind your own little ways of whatever you want to think about. I'm going to give you a job to do and think about that. And then what should I think about? Om Namah Shivaya. After that what? Om Namah Shivaya. Om Namah Shivaya. And of course the mind is is like a new employee in training. Correct? Yeah. During training the person is in probation and the person is afraid of losing the job, and so therefore they have to listen to what their hours are. They cannot say I'll work from home and I'll work from Starbucks. All that all that is available only for senior management and people like that. You cannot say I'll just do this from wherever I like, I'm going to work from bed. You cannot do that. You have to go to the office, at least in the beginning, especially when you are in probation. They want to make sure that they can have enough confidence in you to let you go and do whatever you want. So even though when the person is chafing, the person says, oh, the weather is so nice outside, I want to go to the beach. But I can't work from the beach. So I have to here be in the office, in the midst of all these things. I have to be, in the midst of all this humming equipment and Xerox machines and fax machines and all these things, in this artificial light I have to sit. So, you cannot say I don't like it. So even though the employee wants to be away, forcibly is brought back to the reality that this is the period of training. And so therefore the mind, like this errant, truant, playing employee, has to be repeatedly brought back to the focus of whatever job you have given it to do. If it is Om Namah Shivaya, it has to come back to Om Namah Shivaya. And so, and a time of doing that, what it does is it makes the mind stay with the teaching, it makes the mind stay with the knowledge. Otherwise there are so many distractions, In the middle of the class you have forgotten what was said. Why? Because the attention was somewhere else, or you didn't even hear. You can forget only when you heard. Sometimes you don't even hear. The ears have come to the classroom, but the mind has gone away. So the practice of meditation does this. So the meditation is a preparation for knowledge. Neither meditation nor contemplation produce knowledge. How is knowledge produced? Yeah. Shravanam, through listening. That is the only way knowledge is uncovered, discovered. So Shravanam only, gives knowledge. But these practices, meditation or contemplation, they in themselves do not, neither do they remove ignorance nor do they produce knowledge. But both of them are auxiliary practices. The first one that we talked about, meditation, what does it do? It stabilizes the mind so that it prepares the mind to host the knowledge. Yeah. Just like when a guest is coming, you clean out the house and you prepare the room and put some fresh towels and sheets and some fresh cut flowers, you put everything. So like this, the mind is prepared to receive this guest, which is Bhagavan, really, the knowledge of Bhagavan as yourself. The mind is readied through meditation. Meditation equips the mind to ready itself to receive the knowledge. So when is this done? Prior to receiving or afterwards? Prior, naturally. You don't clean the room and put fresh cut flowers after the guest has gone. The flowers are for the guest before the guest comes. So, like this is for before the knowledge. And contemplation, what is contemplation? Contemplation is looking at the meaning of all the words that you have already heard and understood the meanings of. These words have been explained, and what are they? Sat, Chit, Ananda, Brahman, Atma, Adhyasa, rope, snake, as though, pot, clay, Mithya, Satyam, Asanga, I am Asanga, all these things, Vairagya, Viveka, all these things you know the meanings of already. Tattvamasi, you know the meaning of Tattvamasi. Because you cannot contemplate on an unknown thing. So you can only contemplate on how much you know and what you know. And then here what happens is that you understand the meanings, and the understood meanings of the Shastra which you have studied are regurgitated, and just you keep looking at the meaning again and again. It's like you have a favorite painting, that you love, and you have saved up the money to buy this painting and you hang it in a place. And you have seen it, but every day you look at it, and you admire it, and each time you look at it, not that you don't know how the painting looks, but each time you look at it, you go deeper and you gain something more. You say, oh, I didn't even see this color, I didn't see this angle. Same thing with a good classical book. When you read the book, you know the story. But then when you read it again, you say, oh, now that I don't have to focus on the story, I can go so much deeper. I can see the undercurrents of what this author is trying to do here. I can see how this character has been built up. I can see how this plot is unfolding here. You can appreciate the finer nuances, and so too, this is called Jnanabhyasa. It's the regurgitation of the sentences of the Upanishads as they have been assimilated, and then having a re-look at them and repeatedly reveling in them, because obviously they are all about you, the subject, and your own glory. So of course you have to revel. Nobody feels sad while contemplating. If you are feeling sad while contemplating, please stop. Something is not right. Yeah. So this is what the whole thing is. So this is the difference between contemplation and meditation. Contemplation comes after the knowledge has been gained in order to stabilize the knowledge. Meditation comes before the knowledge is gained, or as the knowledge is being gained, not in order to stabilize the knowledge, but in order to stabilize the mind to receive the knowledge. Yes? Yeah. So then, so that we don't mistake all these that were taught as meditations, he quickly says they are not meditations. Yeah, they are. After saying I'm going to teach you 4 kinds of meditation, and after teaching all these techniques, he says actually they are not meditations. They are actually jnanabhyasa. He talked about that. Brahma vidya eva khalu vyasa. So what you just heard were not meditations. So then why did you call them meditations? You don't have any other job or what? Confusing the already confused. Why do you have to call them meditations if they are not meditation? Because really speaking in the Sanskrit, 2 reasons. Really speaking in the Sanskrit language, nididhyasana and dhyana come from really almost the same root, dhyai. And so therefore that is one thing, they have a similar meaning, So that is one reason he calls them meditations. The other reason is because the person who is in the grip of the ghora and the mudha vritti, hopefully that's the person trying to read this because they want to get out of it, correct? So the person who has the ghora mind and the mudha mind, the restless mind and the tamasic mind, the rajasic and tamasic mind, the agitated mind and the slothful mind, whatever it is, the sad mind. So such people are wanting to get out of it. That is why they are listening to this chapter, reading this chapter. So for them what he wants to do is he wants them to have something to do. Yeah. Because such, at that level of trying to, overcome the influence of the vrittis, the people still identify with a certain do worship. Correct? So he is giving them things to do. And therefore he is calling it dhyanam. Yeah. Contemplation is really not will based. The words of the Upanishad come, you are having a contemplative mindset, they just come and you just happen to see Satchit Ananda in everything without any effort on your part. There is no effort. It is effortless and not will based. Meditation is will based. That's another distinction between the two. So, but here the people are wanting something to do. So he's giving them something and saying that although I have given you these things to do and called them meditations, they are really contemplations. They are really contemplations. And then he says, let us look at this verse now. Vidyayam means in the knowledge. And what is happening in the knowledge? Satchidanandaha prapya. In the knowledge, what happens? There is something that happens in the knowledge. What happens in this knowledge? Satchidanandaha prapya, gaining the understanding of Sat Chit Ananda. It's not gaining Sat Chit Ananda, because Sat Chit Ananda was present even in the Mudha mind. We saw that, correct? What holds the Mudha mind is the Satchidananda alone upholds the Mudha mind. But the Mudha mind doesn't have any, the Mudha mind does not leave any imprint on Satchidananda. That is what we have to understand. So here what? In knowledge, Vidyayam, seventh case, Satchidanandaha prapya. Let us leave that Akhandaika Rasatmatam prapya. You can take that later. So first let us look at this. Vidyayam Satchidanandaha prapya na bhanti. Na bhanti. So we have to see this like this. So in the knowledge, na bhanti or na bhede na bhanti, both ways you can take. Anyhow, so in this knowledge, which knowledge? Knowledge of Satchidananda, knowledge as Satchidananda, knowledge that reveals Satchidananda. Correct? Yeah. In this knowledge, what happens? They gaining this knowledge of Satchidananda. In this knowledge, where Satchidananda is the subject of the knowledge, the topic of the knowledge, and what kind of Satchidananda is this? This Akhanda Eka Rasatmata. This knowledge has got the quality or the characteristics of being Akhanda, impartite. Number one, Eka Rasatmata, it has got the second quality or the qualification of being, this knowledge has the second thing, which is Eka Rasatmata. What is Eka Rasatmata? A singularity about it. Akhanda, an undivided, non-dually one. Eka Rasa. Rasa means that which is whole. The word rasa is used to describe the Atma in the Taittiriya Upanishad. Eka Rasa means of the single wholeness, a wholeness that is unmitigated by time or space, or where time or space do not constrict the experience of the wholeness, neither do various moods. So this is the kind of Satchidananda that is there, and gaining this Satchidananda, what happens? Akhanda, bhanti, gaining this knowledge, bhanti. Bhanti means what? Shines. Bha, to shine, bhanti, what is that? Plural, shine. They shine. Who is this they? Satchidanandaha bhanti. Yeah. The Satchidananda shines. In this knowledge of one purport, and where the truth of oneself as whole and as totally free of duality is unfolded. Gaining this knowledge, what happens? The Satchidananda shines. Now what are you talking about? Wasn't Satchidananda shining before? Tell me yes or no. Yes. Whole, how many verses now? 30 verses he has spent saying Satchidananda shines no matter what. Even in the dullest of mind, Satchidananda shines. Even in a rock, Satchidananda is there. It may not shine, but it's there. Sat shines, And then it depends on the medium, if it's a clean medium, it's an unclean medium, it's a medium with or without the subtle body called Sukshma Sharira, Satchidananda shines. No, he says Satchidananda shines in the true knowledge. So why do I have to worry about gaining this knowledge? And Satchidananda is shining anyway. And he is so clever, he is saying this at the very end, after we have read this whole chapter. This is called non-disclosure, correct? Yeah. No. Satchidananda shines no matter what. Shines in the rock, then shines in the walk, shines in the talk. From rock to talk, in everything Satchidananda shines, But the rock is not complaining, I cannot experience Ananda, correct? Who is complaining? The one who is become rock-like after, jaded, faded, jaded. Yeah, faded, jaded Jiva. Like when you put the clothes out in the sun, that's what happened to me today. I let it out for too long. I just, put it out for too long, and one side was suddenly lighter than the other side. One side dark orange, another side light orange, and in the middle medium orange. So one thing is, it's extremely wonderful, yeah. So then I can look like the Grateful Dead, as though I'm going to a Grateful Dead concert with all these shades. So the rock doesn't complain, correct? Rock does not complain, I am Satchidananda. But this jaded, faded Jiva, which has been out, in the sun of samsara, in the hot durvara samsara davagni tapta Jiva. I'm borrowing, I'm not being that poetic, neither I'm being extempore, I'm borrowing from Viveka Chudamani. Durvara, where the student complains, Durvara samsara davagni taptam dodhuya manam duradrishta vataihi bhitam prapannam paripahi mrityoho. And anyat sharanam, na jnane aham, na jane aham. I don't understand where else I can, take refuge other than this, in this knowledge, other than at your feet. Oh Guru, he's talking to the Guru. Durvara samsara davagni taptam, the hot rays of the samsaric sun have burnt a hole in my head. Yeah. Dodhuya manam, and I have been shaken about relentlessly and unmercifully by the winds of repeated misfortunes. How many misfortunes means fortunes that have been missed. Okay, yeah, you have to. Good fortune that has been missed. That's what is misfortune. You keep missing the fortune. In how many lives? Life after life after life after life after life. So for the one who complains that I'm not feeling the Ananda, who cares about Sat or Chit? What I want is Ananda. And I'm not feeling the Ananda. Who cares if the rock is Sat? And who cares if the plant is Chit? I'm not feeling it. Who cares if my mind is Sat Chit? It doesn't matter. I'm not feeling the Ananda. Who was complaining? This jaded, faded Jiva. Correct? Mm-hmm. Yeah. So now the jaded, faded Jiva is told that's why the purport of this chapter, because he's getting ready to wind up. And the purport of this chapter was to show that there is a reason why you don't, quote unquote, experience the Ananda, which is the nature of Brahman, because you are inhibiting it with your own thought processes and mindsets. And the two kinds of mindsets were talked about, which are non-conducive to this Ananda, to maintaining this Ananda. And one kind of mindset was talked about that is conducive to manifesting or shining this Ananda. And what are the first two mindset? Ghora and Mudha mindset, where Ananda does not even come near. I mean, it is there, but it is not shown. And the example that was given, just like the light of fire is not visible, in the hot water. The fire has only able to transfer the heat because of the medium. But the light of the fire is visible in the wood. Like that, in the Shantavritti alone, all the whole nature of Brahman shines. Then again we got into this long, discussion about how the Shanta Vritti, even though it's a medium for this Ananda to be reflected, is not the cause of the Ananda. The cause of the Ananda is neither outer things nor the inner conducive Vritti. Correct? So how to understand that? By separating and sifting. That's why all the meditations were given. Meditate on the Sat in the rock, meditate on the Chit inside the mind, or in the Ghora and the Mudha Vritti, and meditate on all three, Satchidananda in the Shanta Vritti, go stage by stage, If you can see Sat in the rock, we are very happy, that is what is very, very low, and also before that, prepare the mind by casting off all the projections. This was also told, correct? So now we have come to a place. And it was talked about how, one more thing, it was talked about how this is called Mishra Brahma. What is this Mishra Brahma? Brahman as though associated with various, upadhis. And I talked at length about what is an upadhi. A container of sorts for this Satchidananda to dwell. That is so silly to ask, where does Satchidananda dwell? The answer should be, where do you dwell that you are asking this question? From which continent have you come? But Satchidananda doesn't need a dwelling place. But it's as though constricted by the medium. It's not really constricted. Like even the pot space is as though constricted by the akara, the name and the form of the pot. So instead of saying pot is in space, we say space is in pot. Correct? So this ulta thinking happens. So instead of saying that I am in Ananda, I am Ananda, you say I need to, I need all these crutches to manifest Ananda. This is what one does. So this is the reason why this whole, the quote unquote associated Brahman meditations and contemplations were given. So that even in association with the mind that is most unconducive to gaining this, to reflecting the Ananda, you can still see the Ananda. So Vidyaranya has, cannot be accused of non-disclosure, because he has done a very good favor by showing how even the most tamasic mind, even a mind that is full of sorrow, can contemplate upon the nature of Brahman. He has achieved the impossible. Really, this is his brilliance. And nobody can say, I cannot do this, because this is so clearly written down. And clearly it is explained. And so now he says, now the time, first we have to sift. I told you, this is a typical, even in the Kaivalya Upanishad also we are doing this. We separate to unite, correct? First everything is not me, not me, not me, not me, not me. Then after that everything is me, 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 me. Sarva samstham. I am in everything. Sarva bhutani cha atmani. Sarva bhutam cha atmanam. Everything is in me. I am in everything. So there is the sifting and the delineation, so that the person understands them separately, as it were. And it's beautiful. So wonderfully he has separated that which cannot be separated. He has separated and shown, delineated each and everything. What vrittis and which part of this Sat and Chit, and how the Ananda is inhibited in the other two vrittis. He has done the impossible. And now the time has come to unite. Correct? So now he says that there is, when the knowledge shines in the heart, Vidyayam. Vidyayam means in knowledge. In knowledge means what? Even the mind is soaked in the knowledge, like a gulab jamun or a rasagulla. Yeah. We have these fatty sweets, correct? Yeah, they are made of all kinds of rich things. Terribly tasty, wonderful. So you first take this milk powder and some other things, and flour and everything, and you make a ball, and then you fry the ball, deep fry. Yeah, this is not shallow fry, and this is not, put it in the oven, no. You deep fry them happily, And then what? And then while they are deep frying on one stove, on the other one you make a stringy sugar syrup. Just sugar and water. You just put some other, saffron and something, you just season it, that's all. And then straight out of the frying pan, these sizzling fried, laddu like round things, you slosh them in the sugar syrup and then keep them overnight. Don't talk to them. Yeah. And then the next day, when you eat them, which part doesn't have the sugar syrup? Huh? No part, correct? Yeah. They're all like, this is the Indian donut. They're really spongy and ooey and gooey and extremely delicious. If you like that much sweet, yeah. So this is what is called rasatma, eka rasatmata. This is what it is. So this Satchidananda altogether is like this is soaked. So the heart that is soaked in the knowledge of Satchidananda, not only is the heart Satchidananda, it is self-aware and it knows it is Satchidananda. It is like this well-made gulab jamun. Not a single piece of it is lacking the juice. Yeah. And because that is that all pervasiveness. The juice has permeated every little inch, nook and cranny of this fried round. And so the Satchidananda, after the person fries in hot oil. What is that? That is the life of the Jiva. I'm going in the frying pan. Oh no, now I'm in the fire. You're not in the fire, you're in the fryer. Okay, I'm in the fryer. And here is the loss. And here is a gain. Oh, it's a gain, wonderful. Oh, but that's also lost. Oh, this next thing is coming. That will be happy. Yes, several lifetimes later, the person keeps saying, Agla life aayega, another life will come. It will make me happy. And this is what we say, when a person passes away, we say, may you have all your, desires fulfilled in the next life. And if the person's family is around them, what they say? Let's say the person has left behind the spouse and the children and the grandchildren. So the spouse might say, at the ceremony, the spouse will say, in the next life, may you please have a spouse that is more conducive to you than I ever could be. Sending them on their journey with this wish and prayer. And the children say, may you be blessed with children not like us, much better than us next time. The children that you really would have liked to have, because this fellow always kept finding fault with the wife and the children. And then the grandchildren say, may other grandchildren be blessed by you and may they know your value. And the friends will give them such blessings. So like this, the departed soul is sent with a lot of wishes for the next life. And why is the departed soul sent with a lot of wishes in the next life? So that it doesn't hang around here. Yeah, much as they are loved, the living people don't want the disembodied personality to be hanging around. Yeah. So please go with all our good wishes, no resentment we carry. This life is over, next life we wish you much better things, and please go on. And that the packet of wishes, of desires that are sent, they propel that Jiva to go to wherever it is supposed to go. It propels that is the belief. So like this, the Jiva itself is jaded and faded. The other people wish, okay, next life may it be better for you. And the Jiva also has some slight hope, maybe it will be better. But is it better? No. So first, you are, what is that? You have that ball, you are just a ball of karma. Some papa, some punya, that's why milk powder, that is punya. And then some other things are there, additives and all, that is papa. So first you are just a ball of karma, and from this big dough of sanchita, a little prarabdha ball is broken up. Yeah, this little jamun for this life, Jiva jamun is crafted, and then it is put into the hot oil. Oh my God, how many lifetimes? And then I'm brown and I have now emotional maturity. If nothing, I have titiksha frying in the hot oil. Shama, Dama, Uparati, Shraddha has really come. Please get me out, get me out. And then the sweet Guru juice of the knowledge is waiting in the next pan. just nicely warm, sweet, seasoned with cardamom and saffron and a little dribble of rose water, sweet, inviting, and just the right temperature. The sweet juice of knowledge, coming through the teacher is waiting. And then the jivas from the hot oil are dropped and they say, thank God, let me soak this up. I don't know what good deed I had done. Raso vaisaha rasaghyevanyam labdvanandi bhavati. This is Taittiriya Upanishad. Raso vaisaha. The person becomes laden with juice. Guru juice, Atma juice, which is the same as the Atma juice, which is the same as the Shruti juice. So the Shruti juice and the Guru juice and the Atma juice are one and the same juice. Limitless juice. Yeah, very juicy. Juicy knowledge. Until now we thought gossip is juicy, but this is far juicier than gossip. Because this is a sip that never goes. Yeah. It's the no-go sip. Yeah, it's a sip that never goes. So that's why it's much better than gossip. And then you soak in this juice and the person, becomes Ananda. Yes. And then you can dress every gulab jamun in an orange frock and keep them aside. And then the Guru names all of them.
Very good thought.
Nobody will be able to look at gulab jamun the same way after today. So laden with Atma juice, which is we forget this. Atma juice is also Satchidananda. Guru juice, the juice that's coming out of the Guru is Satchidananda. And then the Shruti juice, the knowledge juice is also Satchidananda. And then so laden and becomes heavy with this knowledge. That's why the person becomes a Guru. Guru means heavy. The literal meaning of the word Guru is heavy also. Another, Laghu Guru. And so that's why the person becomes a Bada Mahatma, grows sideways. No, really, each of those rounds swell after remaining in the juice. And so laden with Guru juice, this Gulab Jamun Ananda, that is its new name now. And this Jamun Ananda comes out. And then, this is what is called Vidyayam Satchidanandaha Bhanti Akhandaikatma Rasam Prapya. After gaining this oneness through knowledge, this is not an experience. After delineating this one by one, perhaps as a preparation to the knowledge, and after doing jnanabhyasa, after gaining the knowledge and contemplating, a time comes. When will that time come? Achirena, not too long from now. The time will come where each jiva is soaked in this knowledge, and this knowledge shines without a medium. You cannot add. Now the sugar has become one with the gulab jamun. Then even if you take that blessed ball and squeeze it out and say, okay, I don't want the juice. And then I have tried this, because I was trying to give somebody who is diabetic and see if this is. So what I did was I squeezed it, and then I broke off a piece. Okay, it's still sweet. Then I held it under the tap while squeezing it, I washed the jamun out, still it was sweet. Yeah. Why? Because the sweetness no longer belonged to the Guru or to the Shastra. Who did it belong to? It belonged to, it was owned up by the Jamunananda. Yes. Yeah, it was owned up by this little being who is one with the Shruti, one with the Guru's voice, one with the teaching, one with the teacher. What teaching, what teacher, what sorrow? Nothing. So this Vidyayam, in this knowledge, which is not a state, which is the truth of oneself, in this knowledge, all of them shine Satchidanandaha without a medium. Yeah. They shine without a medium. Why? Because the nature itself is that. And what we have done is made it conducive through the knowledge for the nature to to shine, because a very important thing has happened. Bhedaka upadhi varjanat. You know, they bhanti, they shine, they don't shine, you know, as separate entities. Now Sat, now Chit, now Ananda, now this, now that. No. They shine as a single, homogeneous, uninterrupted, you know, alive, assimilated, limitless knowledge in the heart. And what is the reason for that? Because the differences between the Sat and the Chit and the Ananda, which were good for delineating purposes, have disappeared with the falsification of the Upadhi. Upadhika Bheda Varjanat. Upadhikam, you know, Bhedaka. Bhedaka means the differential factors that make the Upadhi matter. Like this is very easily explained, you know. First one thought, this what did this fellow think at first of itself? What did it think it was? Hello? Pot. Yeah. It said it's a crackpot. It says it's in danger of being falling, you know. It says my life has gone to pot. There is nothing to be alive, you know. It's a horrible life. And why am I like this? Correct? Oh clay, darshan kab doge, you know. When will you give darshan, oh dear clay, which is God for me? Its God is clay because that is its source. Everything is helplessly attracted to the source. And so then what happened here? So the pot had a pot guru. Pot guru came. Pot bellied guru perhaps came and taught the pot. You are not what you thought you are. You are just not, you are not pot. You are just a pot thought. Yeah. You are not pot. You are a pot thought. What is the truth of you? Clay. Without clay you don't exist. Without clay you don't begin. When when this body ends, back to clay you go. So really speaking, even now you are non-separate from clay. Clay tvamasi. That was the Mahavakya. Pot received its own Mahavakya. Clay tvamasi. Mrit tvamasi. If you want to put everything in, in Sanskrit. Mrit tvamasi. Mrit also means dead, but that's not what is being talked about. That's not mritaha, that's different. Yeah? Mrit tvamasi. You are mrit alone, you are not a pot. That you thought was a pot was just a thought. It was a pot thought. And you took the as though container, the as though delimiting factors such as the clay and such as the name and the form to be real. And that's why you suffered. So when the upadhi, the as though, conditioning, which the body, mind, sense complex, which as though conditions Brahman, deha, manas, etc., they are all the as though conditioning factors for this Brahman. Like even the space inside the pot is not conditioned, but is as though conditioned by the shape and the place and the form of the pot. So like even so, this Chaitanya, this limitless consciousness, as though conditioned by the body, mind, sense complex, was able to see Brahman only in bits and pieces because the medium was not clear. The vision was not clear. Correct? And it needed to fry in the hot oil of samsara a little more to gain maturity. Needed to fry in the oil of titiksha a little more to gain maturity. Shraddha, all the equipment that one needs to, the qualifications that one needs, it needed that. And then what happened? Being exposed to the guru juice of knowledge, then, all the karmas have fried away. There is no karma. There is nothing except Satchidananda. You cannot wash it out because it's his own nature. Akhandaikatma rasatam, rasam prapya bhanti. Satchidanandaha bhanti. This Sat Chit and Ananda, they shine. Na bhedena bhanti. They don't shine with different differences. Now you see only Sat because the person is, apathetic. Now you see only Chit. Now you see Ananda. No. It is just a stream of uninterrupted, unending, non-separate, homogeneous nature that one has access to. And that access point is not because of the mind. That access point transcends the mind. But it, of course, it shines in the mind. Where does it shine? Kutra bhanti? You have to say in the mind only it shines, but not as the mind. It shines in the mind, but not as the mind. Not by the mind. The mind is not the agent of this state, and it's not a state, first of all. So therefore, this Sachidanandaha bhanti, and then what? Bhedaka upadhi varjanat, because the upadhi has been, falsified. Falsified means what here? Falsified means you pretend that you don't have a body, correct? No. No. Even while being in the body, even while the blessing of the knowledge is that even while being in a finite body, mind, sense complex, I know that I am infinite. I am infinite enough to have a tiny little body, even a tinier little mind, and senses that drive you senseless have stopped driving you senseless because of this knowledge. There is nothing more to seek. So then he says, this is amishra brahmana. This is not mishra brahman. This is not Brahman associated with the upadhi, because the association and the associating factors, because the factors that made Brahman associate with a upadhi in the mind is what? One's own ignorance. So the associating factors are gone. The upadhi is falsified. And Satchidananda is just Satchidananda. Before also it was just Satchidananda, but the upadhi came in the way and then gave rise to powerful mental conditions that themselves became upadhis within upadhis that interrupted this flow of understanding, interrupted the understanding of Brahman as the truth of oneself. That taken care of, and along with the knowledge, what has happened now? The mind is free to enjoy. To enjoy the joy. That is what it is. Then what? Next. Shanta ghora shiladyascha bheda kopadhayo mataha yogad vivekato vaisham upadhi nama prakriti. In this he is reminding us that the upadhi is not literally to be removed. The upadhi itself is mithya, and you are not trying to remove the upadhi. Okay? Yeah. So therefore, apakritihi means removal, but it's not like the removal that you think. Okay, let us see what it says. So then the question may arise that if this uninterrupted flow of knowledge, etc., that you talked about is happening in the mind and is happening after the knowledge, then what happened to the sattvika, rajasa, tamasa state? What about them? Well, Swami Vidyaranya says they were the ones that were creating all this mischief. They were the ones. They were the ones creating all the mischief, because they've already, the body is divided into mind, senses, karta, bhokta, etc. They were further dividing the mind into conducive and non-conducive states, and then compounding the problem of self-ignorance by relegating the self-ignorance to have one more problem. What is the other problem? That I take myself to be what I am not. This is what I am doing. And so therefore, Shantaha Ghoraha. So the Shanta and the Ghora were all upadhis, he says. Shanta was an example of an upadhi, and Ghora was an upadhi as well, just like the stone and the wood. The stone and the wood are what? Upadhis for Satchidananda, correct? And unfortunately, being stone and wood, they are not able to manifest the Chit or the Ananda. They can only manifest Sat, even though they are Satchidananda. Like that, the Ghora and the Mudha Vrittis too, they could just broadcast the Sat, but they could not broadcast the Ananda. The Ananda was inhibited. And what happened in the Shanta Vritti? The Shanta Vritti, the Ananda was there, but it was very difficult to keep on maintaining the Shanta Vritti, because Ashanti can be created like that. Yeah, in 1 second. You are expecting somebody is 5 minutes late. That is itself enough for Ashanti. Yeah. In that 5 minutes, that Shanti converts into Ashanti very quickly. So, it is your choice now. Either you gain the self-knowledge or you become a Shantavritti monitor. You keep on becoming vigilant and keep on trying to have Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. And then you say, I want Shanti, I want Shanti, I want Shantavritti, I want Shantavritti. And then you get impatient. I want Shantavritti now. What has happened now? It has turned into Ghora. Yeah. And then you say, I'm not getting Shantavritti at all. It has become Mudha now. So, Shantavritti is very difficult to maintain. And yes, why was it talked about? So that you understand that in the conducive state of the mind is needed for the gain of the knowledge. So you understand what it is. That it's the Shantavritti that is making you happy, and so even so, the joy is based on the subject, not the object. So that is why the Shantavritti was pointed out, to make sure that one drops the dependence on the objects as the source of enjoyment. That the joy is really, because even when none of the desires are fulfilled, if you are in Shantavritti, you are happy. So that shows that the desire fulfillment has nothing to do with being in Shanta, with Ananda. The desire fulfillment really has nothing to do with Ananda. So the joy is not centered on the object, it is centered on the subject, to show that the Shantavritti was discussed. And to show how that subject-oriented joy is not manifest or broadcast in the other two vrittis. That is why the Ghora and the Mudha were discussed. So the Rajas, Tamas and Sattvika states of the mind are themselves baby upadhis that, that broadcast this kind of broadcast Brahman. They become areas for broadcast of Brahman. But then what happens is that you have to transcend them. You have to transcend these states of the mind. But how to transcend? So each time I have a Ghora thought, I go like this because I don't want it. Then I'll be shaking the head all the time. Shanta came, no. Ghora came, no. Then I'll get some kind of a tick, Yeah. Right? That's what will happen. First I'll get a tick and then I'll get ticked off. That's what will happen. So therefore, there must be a different way to understand this. Because the mental vrittis, that's why it is called a vritti. What is the definition of vritti? That is a modification. How long does it last? Kshanika, momentary. Correct. By the time you say vritti, it has come and gone. In fact, several vrittis have come and gone. So how are you going to catch the vrittis? You cannot catch the vrittis. So therefore, that you are waiting for this one vritti. So you choose that one vritti of self-knowledge to come via the teacher, via the pramana, and to dispel the ignorance. And that ignorance dispelling vritti comes and does its job, and that also dies away, goes away. But you don't need it anymore because the knowledge is not dependent upon the vritti. Yeah, really. So the knowledge, the vritti just removes the ignorance, the knowledge shines. And regardless of what mental state one is in, the mental states are falsified. The mental states become just a response to the world at that level. That's all it is. There is nothing beyond that. Or the mental states just correspond to whatever other people want to see. And this is something very true when you go and sit with saints. This happens. This is really very true. And this is something that we have heard with Ramana Maharshi and so many other saints. Even with Swamiji, we have seen this. And what happens is that, they just respond to the situation. Sometimes they respond to what people want to see. And that response is not planned. It's a spontaneous overflow of whatever emotion in that particular time and place which is appropriate for that particular time, place and person. It is not coming out of some need here or some lack inside. So that's why the upadhis behind the mental states are falsified. Yeah. So the mental state is just a response to the particular situation. There is a story told about Ramana Maharshi, who he was sitting in meditation, he was all the time sitting in meditation, contemplation. And then somebody said that one of the bhaktas, the devotees who was in labor, had a child. And he was so happy. He just clapped his hands and laughed and smiled, and then again became quiet. And then half an hour later they said, very sad news, she passed away in childbirth. And he became very serious, and one tear fell out of one eye. And that was it, So this is more of a response to the situation. The entire person is not engaged. Yeah. You see this in this example. So the happiness is a response to the situation. And the sadness is an appropriate response, an outpouring, a spontaneous outpouring that was appropriate for that situation. But inside the person is not like, I'll miss this person, how they could go like this, I wish I had seen her before. None of that, no regret, no guilt, no hurt. It is just an outward response. Much like when the rain clouds gather, and then there is this angry thunderstorm. The thunder, what is that? Makes a lot of noise. The lightning strikes, and there's a lot of noise in the sky, and then rain pours, and then after having, it's just a precipitation based on the weather, because that's what the weather does. And after having rained, what does it do? It departs, leaving the sun shining again. So like this, the moods of, there are really no moods for the jnani. But if the ajnani, or the person in the process of gaining jnanam, sees a mood, it is most of the time it is one's own transference, one's own projection. And even if it is not one's own projection, it's just the mood or the state of the mind, so to speak. Even though the mind is very even, the state of expression depends upon the particular situation, place, person, and what that person might need. So that is what he is describing. This is the falsification of the rajasic, tamasic, and sattvic states. You are not using them as crutches. You are not using them as an escape. You are just watching them. First you watch them, and then they go away. They don't have a hold over you. That is the apakritihi, means falsification. So this is how the knowledge is, the upadhis are falsified. So shantaha ghoraha, so the shanta vritti and the ghora vritti, just like the stone and the tablet of stone and the wood, the piece of wood, are just the divided because of the upadhi. Otherwise, what's the difference between the wood and the what is the other one? The stone. What is the difference between a wood and a rock? There is no difference, correct?
No.
Yeah. The wood doesn't say only if only I could, I would, and the rock doesn't say I rock. Both of them have no difference, correct? And similarly, what is the difference? Now he is coming to really the highest, understanding. What is the difference between the Shanta, Ghora and the Mudha states? No difference. Before we have to delineate Shanta because it was better than the other two. Like I explained before, you have to take recourse in Sattvika, vritti, and then you drop, allow that also to drop, because that is not a definition of you. First, it is a ladder to climb to a higher level of elevation so you can have a view of your own mind without getting entangled in it. So you climb the ladder of Shanta Vritti, the ladder also drops away. And in fact, you don't look for the view, you are the view. Yeah, this is beautiful. You are the view. And so therefore, so just like the stone and the tablet, there is the tablet, stone and the wood, there is no difference. Similarly, Shanta, Ghora, Rajasic, Satvik, Tamasic, there is no difference. They are all upadhis. They are all superimpositions upon that Brahman, which is as those superimpositions, which is just Sat Chit Ananda alone, And then Mataha means this is the unanimous conclusion, not just of me, Vidyaranya saying, but of all the Mahatmas, all the teachers of Vedanta that came before me. And this is in the opinion of all the saints, uniformly, unanimously, this alone is the understanding. And then what happened? Yogad vivekatah vai esham upadhinam apakritihi. So how to let these, how to disable, there must be a disable button for the upadhis, correct? I wish there was. You press it and it's disabled. Sometimes you can do that. You can press a button and disable the functions of a particular set of operations. So then where is the master switch for this upadhi that you can just switch off the upadhi? Is there a master switch? The master switch is just the knowledge switch. The knowledge button is when you press the knowledge button. When you are deeply impressed by the knowledge, literally, what happens is that the upadhis become dysfunctional, means they don't matter. Apakritihi is negation. You don't dissociate. You don't say I'm not this body, I'm not this body. And then what do you do after saying I'm not this body? Then you go home and put band-aid, because you kept saying I'm not this body, I'm not this body, and then you need to put some balm because now it is becoming painful. No, that's not the point. The point is that knowing full well that this body is this body belongs to me, this body gets hungry every 3 hours, this body does this body does that, and then so I take care of this body. I take care of it like as though I'm a managing trustee of this body. I'm the only one who can take care of this body. And then in the due course, the body will fall away. But then the indweller of this body, so to speak, is the only thing that dwells. Yeah. Everything else, dwells upon Satchidananda. Satchidananda alone dwells independently of anything. And so in that, this is the cognitive apakritihi, a cognitive negation of the body-mind sense complex. Very beautiful. So then, how do you do that? He gives 2 methods. Yogad vivekatah. So vivekatah means by knowledge. Yeah. And then before that, by preparation of yoga. Yogad vivekatah. Yoga here means Ashtanga yoga. Yama, niyama, asana, then pratyahara, withdrawing the senses, dhyana, dharana, samadhi. So, and then there, what is that? Yoga, chitta vritti, nirodha, ishvara pranidhana. It's actually Vedanta only if you read it properly, if you understand it properly. Ishvara pranidhanam. And then the second sutra is very important. Swarupe avasthanam. Yeah. Swarupe avasthanam. Swasmin rupe. In one's own swarupa. Avasthanam. The abidance in one's own swarupa. That is what is the Yoga Sutras of Patanjali are talking about. But they have to be understood properly. It's not just by asana and meditation I get this. Through a study of Vedanta, and then where yoga is, where the purport of yoga is also understood properly. What is this? Yoga also is a preparation. Even the asanas are a preparation. So that preparation is understood properly. And you can even take yoga as karma yoga, no problem. So karma yoga prepares, and then through viveka you understand this slowly to the nirakritihi, apakritihi, the falsification of the upadhi, happens in time because of the knowledge and viveka and a proper lifestyle. Next one. Nirupadhi brahma tattve भासमाने स्वयं प्रभे अद्वैते त्रिपुटी नास्ति भूमानन्दोत उच्यते. Yeah. So I'm going to finish this today. So we will probably need 5 minutes more. So here, Nirupadhi Brahma Tattve. When this, Bhasamane Swayam Prabhe. When this Swayam Prabha, what is Swayam Prabha? One's own light. And what is this one's own light? The light of consciousness, which is self-referential, self-evident, self-revealing. What do you mean by self-revealing? The answer to the question, are you here? Yeah. What do you say? Yes. That is the meaning of the word self-revealing. So in this self-revealing consciousness, bhasamane, in this shining, self-luminous, self-revealing consciousness, nirupadhi brahma tattve, when the association-less Brahman is understood. First we heard Mishra Brahman, that Brahman which is as though associated with the body, and then you delineate the body, you say no to the name and form, tyaktva nama rupe dve, Satchidananda Satchidanandam Satchit Chintayet, it was said, please meditate upon Sat and Chit after removing, as it were, cognitively the Nama and the Rupa, correct? So cognitively you have gotten rid of the name and the form, and you are just contemplating on the Sat and the Chit, correct? And so similarly here, cognitively the Upadhi, the body mind sense complex, is no longer an issue. It does not come in the way of understanding the truth of oneself. It does not come in the way of enjoying this knowledge. The mind is not an inhibition to having a good day. The mind is not, neither helps nor inhibits. It just is. And so you have overridden the body mind sense complex, so to speak. And even though the you is dwelling, as it were, in the body mind sense complex, you have understood you are all pervasive. So this is what bhasamane swayam prabhe. You have understood that I am everything, everything is in me, and this Satchidananda, which is without a beginning and an end, I am. And even though this body may be my body, but I am life without any boundaries. I am that sentience without boundaries. I have no limits to my essence, to this Satchidananda which is everywhere. I see myself in everything, and I see everything in me. So when one is able to do that, then one is really appreciating Nirupadhika Brahma, Brahman without the upadhis. One is able to cognitively grasp that, and then what happens? Then you can truly say this is Advaita, correct? This is non-duality. And what is so special about Advaita? Advaite Triputi Nasti. This threefold division is not there. And what is the threefold division? Knower, known process of knowing. Knower, known means of knowledge. Pramata, Prameya, Pramana. Jnata, Jnanam, Gneyam. Same thing. So this usually you know things discreetly, correct? And that's why the joy is also inhibited, because first of all the subject joy is transferred onto the objects, first mistake. Then the second mistake, the objects being finite, if I am having ice cream joy, I cannot have some other joy, correct? Yeah, I cannot have some other joy at the same time. Gulab jamun joy I cannot have. Well, you can mix the two. Yeah, actually there is a dish. You make these gulab jamuns, yeah, and then you put a dollop of ice cream on it, yeah. Yeah. So it's called black magic, yeah. So then that's what they serve in India, So they do this, and then it makes it less sweet, because the ice cream is much less sweet than gulab jamun. So not everybody's dessert of choice, but I'm just telling you. So why can't I have both? Well, because for some people, precisely because for some people it doesn't taste good. Even as I was talking, some people are making faces. So that means it's not everybody's. You may like it separately, but you may not like it mixed up. And then you may like some savory thing, but you cannot mix up salted peanuts and ice cream and gulab jamun. Everything you like, you cannot mix and toss and eat at the same time, correct? So the phrase sarvan kaman samashnute means what? That all the desires are fulfilled in one stroke. Means what? What does that mean? What does that mean? It means no more desire. It means that the nature of the desirer has been understood. The nature of the desirer as being happy without seeking to fulfill anything has been understood. Therefore, there is no more seeking, no more running around after things discreetly, pun intended. And so there is no discrete experiences that are sought out. And so this is what we have to understand, that every experience, the Satchidananda morphs into knower, known, and the process of knowing. Gainer, gained, process of gaining. Knowledge, knowing, knower. Pramata, prameya, pramana. Knowledge, knowing, means of knowledge, and object of knowledge. Subject of knowledge, object of knowledge, means of knowledge. So the subject of knowledge operates the means of knowledge discreetly to know one particular item, correct? That's why all knowledge seems just like not enough. And the more you know, you feel like you don't know. You ask any scientist, they will say, I really don't know. They would have won 14 gold medals and Nobel Prize and got 3 PhDs from different big universities. But they will say, I don't know. This is what it means. There's only one place you can say, enough, I have it. Dhanyoham, kritakrityoham. I have it. I don't need anything more. And the only place where you can say alam is through self-knowledge. That is why it is so shrestha, so exalted. Alam means what? Enough. What about food? Yes, you say enough, enough, enough. I can't have any more. I'm fed up to the gills. And then 2 hours later, the person is looking inside every dabba, Yeah. Becomes a dabba hound, Looks inside every container. Do I have any cookies? Do I have anything here? Looks in the fridge, looks in the freezer. After 2 hours, the alam becomes no alam. Correct? Even knowledge, every branch of knowledge keeps on branching out. That's why it's called branch, because it doesn't cease to stop branch. It doesn't cease branching. Keeps on branching. And then you end up knowing just a twig. That's all. Because the specialties are so big, such a lot. And then here again what? In Atma Vidya alone, in one's own understanding of one's own self alone, you can say enough. Because what is shown is not something which is, that limitless, endless is shown as you. It's revealed as you. Not as anything else that you have to seek and run after. If you have to run after the limitless, then you'll always limitlessly be running. First of all, you cannot run after the limitless, because that implies you are separate from the limitless. Then the limitless becomes limited because it doesn't include you. See? So you cannot run after the limitless. So this is that uncreated, limitless you, which is you alone. So the desirer drops. And the desires which were all, various imaginations and machinations of the finite mind seeking infinity, also resolve. This is called upashamanam. Yeah. Jnanena karaka upashamanam. Karaka upamardanam. The karakas, the various cases that we study in Sanskrit. Karta, karma, the instrument. Subject, object, instrument. What is the fourth one? The sampradana, for the sake of, from, of, belonging to, in. All of them, they imply duality. In means there should be 2 things. That which is a receptacle and that which is in the receptacle. There is no in. What about the karta? Karta is the first one to drop. No karta, akarta. What about the karma? What about karma means bhokta, that I am become the object of other people. Karma, object drops, subject drops. I am neither the subject nor the object. Neither am I the instrument, nor anything is. Am I doing anything for anybody's sake, or anybody is doing it for my sake? I have not come from anything, nor am I going towards anything. And nothing belongs to me. I belong to nothing. Nothing is in me. I am in nothing, or everything is in me. I am in everything. The in becomes as though really. So Advaite Triputi Nasti, these knower known knowledge, this chopping up of the Satchidananda is not there. And then what? Advaite Triputi Nasti, and therefore it is called Bhumananda. Bhumanandaha ataha uchyate. Bhuma is a special name for Atma. Ma bhut iti bhuma. That which never becomes. Yeah. That which always is. And this is used in the 7th chapter of the which Upanishad? No more Thanksgiving retreats if you don't give the answer. Bhuma Vidya comes where? Chandogya Upanishad, the 7th chapter of the Chandogya Upanishad. Yeah, Bhuma Vidya. Where? Who goes to who? कौन किसके पास जाता है? Narada goes to Sanat Kumara for the knowledge and says Soham Bhagava. Soham means what? I am this limited fellow, not that Soham. Shochami, I am a fellow subject to sorrow, please help. And then Sanat Kumara gives a very beautiful instruction. Yad alpam tad martyam tanna bhuma, he says. As I said, I am going to take 5 minutes more, so please bear with me so that you can have a whole hour off tomorrow. Yeah, give me 5-10 minutes more. Yeah, is that all right? Is it all right with people? How about here? Yeah. Thank you. All right. So, and yat alpam, tad martyam, that which is small, finite, is subject to death, he says. Tat na bhuma, that is not bhuma. So the infinite is bhuma, correct? Yeah. So that we have to extrapolate that yat namartyam, yad amritam, tad bhuma, that which is not subject to death is bhuma. That which is not alpa, that which is not small, that is bhuma. And so this bhuma means it is huge, big, limitlessly big and not subject to death. And the Ananda that is associated with being limitlessly big and not subject to death is called Bhumananda. It's a very common name for to be given to Swamis, to be given to sadhus. Yeah. So this is Bhumananda. Bhuma means that is name for Brahman, limitlessly big nature of yourself. And when it is known, it is nothing but Ananda, because that is what you wanted. And that's the only time you can say, enough, I have had enough, I am not seeking anything more. All the seeking has dropped. Seeking is nothing, desires have dropped, because the desires have not dropped. They have resolved into that which I really desire. That's what it is. And so this is Bhumananda, Ataha Uchyate. Therefore, it is said to be Bhumananda. Brahmananda Bhide Granthe Panchamodhyaya Iritaha Vishayananda Etena Dvarenantah Pravishyatam. Beautiful verse, beautiful. Yeah. So he says, I have opened a door for you, ye readers. I welcome you to come through this door. Please come in. Come in, have a seat. What a lovely thing to say at the end. I have opened a door just for you. Please come in. And there's a lot of humility in this verse, which shows, that knowledge and humility go together. He says, Brahmanande, in this whole section, in this quintad, in the final quintad of the Panchadashi, which is called Brahmanande, Vishayananda, Brahmanande, Yogananda, Brahmanande, all these things, Vidyananda, like this, it talks about how Brahmananda is experienced through these various Anandas, 5 chapters. So, in this 5-fold chapter section, which is the final quintad of the Panchadashi, so Brahmananda Abhidhe Granthe, Abhidha means name. Grantha here doesn't mean the whole work, it means in the section, in the quintad. Grantha here should be translated as quintad. In the quintad named as Brahmananda, which is the final 5 chapters, 11 to 15 of the Panchadashi, the Panchamodhyaya Iritaha. This 5th chapter has been placed in front of you. Iritaha has been dedicated to you, has been given to you. 5th chapter? I thought we were studying the 15th chapter. What is the 5th chapter? Mahavakya Tattva Viveka. No, that is not. It is the 5th chapter in the 5 chapters, which is the final quintad. So the 15th chapter happens to be the 5th chapter, which discusses Ananda. Got it? Yeah. So Panchamodhyayah Iritaha. So this 5th chapter has been unfolded, expounded. Vishayanandaha. And this is called the bliss, or whatever they translate here, bliss of objects. So it's not really bliss. The happiness, the so-called happiness, which is centered or delineated in the objects, has been discussed. So please consider this chapter as a door. As a door to what? This is a very good question. Yeah. Door to what? The door to what? The door to yourself as Ananda. The door to yourself as Ananda. You know, I have opened, and it's a very ingenious door, correct? Usually the door to Ananda is through self-knowledge. The door through Ananda is through giving up everything. The door through Ananda is described in the Vedanta text as, renounce everything. Tena tyaktena bhunjitha. And then it says the door to Ananda is, don't get into these worldly entanglements. Don't look at the objects, look at the subject. And here he has managed to do the impossible. Without taking the focus of the objects, he has opened the door of the object joys to lead back to the subject. Fantastic. Yeah. Very done with a great finesse. He says, "O ye readers, please come in. I have done this just for you, knowing how difficult it is and how elusive this so-called Brahman joy is. And everybody says, I can pursue this, I can pursue that, but what about this joy? Where is my Ananda? And I can only see Ananda in the objects. Never mind, let us go through what you can see. First you look at the Ananda in the objects. I have opened the door and I have temptingly entitled this Vishayananda, the joy associated with the objects, so that you will come in. This is a bait. Like the fish, you put some worms and everything, and the fish thinking, what is that? The fish doesn't think this is fishy. I don't think I should bite. It bites. Yeah, it bites. So here we have bitten the bait. Correct? The bait leading back to oneself. Yeah. The bait leading back to oneself. Where like the Roach Motel, you check in but you don't check out. Pun intended. First one thought one was a roach, subject to all kinds of horrible things, and feeling lowly and feeling awful. And then finally this bait, this wonderful chapter led one in, and the upadhi is given up. And then once you check in, there is no reason to check out, literally or figuratively. You remain checked in. Yeah. And so he says this is a nice bait. So some nice aroma is coming. The person who is addicted to Vishayananda, the joy derived out of the objects, is just so attracted, just goes in, like, oh, let me go in. And slowly the person is turned around and taken back to oneself. Very beautiful. So, O readers, pravishyatam, please, may you please enter. May you please enjoy. I have given you this as a gift. And then finally, it ends with a prayer, because it's the end not just of the chapter. He doesn't end every chapter with a prayer. But since this happens to be the final chapter of the book, he ends with a prayer. Because you're supposed to pray at the beginning, in the middle, and at the end. Let us look at that briefly. Priyadharir haro nena Brahmanandena sarvada Payacharirinas sarvan Swashritan chuddamanasan Priyat. This is a benedictive, like a like a vidhiling. Priyat means may this happen, like a wish, like a wishing. And what is he wishing for? Priyad harihi. Priyad means may the pleasing happen. Who should be pleased? May Hari be pleased. Who is this Hari? The one who is Hara. Who is Hara? I told you, one who is Hari is Hara. The one who is Hara is Hari. Because both come from the same root verb. What is this root verb? Har. Which becomes Har, to remove, to take away. And it's not accidental that he is using this root verb. Take away what? All these various limitations, the so-called limitations which make me stick to the upadhi as the truth of myself. Remove these limitations. The Hari and Hara, I invoke upon you. Please be happy with this chapter that I have put in front of you called Brahmananda. Please be happy, not just with this chapter, but this entire segment. Please be happy. And he does the ultimate thing, which is so beautiful. He says, Brahmanandena, this section, these 5 chapters on Brahmananda, Priyad Harihi, Haraha Anena Brahmanandena, by this chapter called Brahmananda, may Hari and Hara, the altars of surrender which remove all the papa karmas, which take away all the scales in front of the eyes, which stop me from seeing the truth of myself, which stop one freeing the truth of myself, may they be pleased. When should they be pleased? Sarvada, at all times may they be pleased. And if Bhagavan is pleased, if this is he has turned in these 5 chapters into a prayer, correct? So the prayer becomes an offering. So he has offered the prayer to Hari and Hara, and that should give some karma phala, correct? Some result of action should be there for every prayer. Every action has a result of action. So the prayer also should have a result of action, yes or no? Yes. And so what is the result of action of this prayer? Some punya karma will come because it is such a beautiful prayer. Even this one chapter that we have studied is so beautiful, is it not? So some punya only will be generated. And he dedicates this punya to all the mumukshus in the world. In the second line, let us look at that. Payat, may there be protection. Pahimam, trahimam, payat, may they protect. May Hari and Hara protect. Who? Sharirinas sarvan, everyone endowed with this upadhi called the body. Very beautifully put. He doesn't say people, he doesn't say minds, he doesn't say nothing. He says, may those that are endowed with a body be able to transcend them. That is his wish. Be able to cognitively transcend the limitations, the so-called limitations of the body, mind, sense complex. Payat, may Hari and Hara be, protect all the people. Sharirana, all the embodied ones, and not just people. This takes care of worms and, all the bacteria, everything that has a body. May they be protected. Sarvan Shariranaha Payat. And what kinds of people should be protected? Swashritan, Shuddhamanasan. Shuddhamanasan, those that have only well-intentioned people, pure-hearted people, people who are following dharma. Correct? Following dharma. Swashritan, double meaning. One is the ones who have dedicated themselves to the Lord, meaning who have taken refuge in Bhagavan, who acknowledge Bhagavan as an entity and that is the source of themselves, and who desire to know Bhagavan and who have taken refuge in Hari and Hara. One meaning of the word Swashrita. And also the other meaning is the ones who know themselves. Swashritan means the one for whom the only refuge is self-knowledge. Such people. The one who rely only on themselves, the truth of themselves. Payat Shariranas Sarvan Swashritan Shuddhamanasan. So with these wonderful words, how can we not know this? Correct? So not only so this is like a lineage of prayers and a lineage of blessings that have been showered upon this class right from the start. So to the lineage of this thing. So for anybody who was complaining that this Vishayananda, the objects are taking me away from the subject, the objects are revealed, the falsified, the subject is only revealed as the most joyful thing, and there is nothing more to seek. So we have a lineage of blessings right from the medieval ages, from the 14th century the blessings have come down, and here we are studying these blessings. These blessings which were, transferred live, in a live transmission of endless teacher-student. Here we are, drinking of this rasa. Isn't that beautiful? Yeah. So with these words, the 15th chapter closes. I am really happy that we were able to finish it today, because, this way you can have tomorrow off. Yeah, so that will be nice. And then in the tradition, the knowledge never ends. So what do we have to do? Go back to the first verse and read the first verse to show that the knowledge is an unending cycle, and may that function as well, for us also. Athatra Vishayanandah Brahmanandam Sharupa Bhak Nirupyate Dvara Bhutah Tadam Shatvam Shrutir Jagau. Om Purnamadav Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om. Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om. I will take questions if there are any, especially since it's the last class for this class. Amrish, I have not seen you in a long time, Amrish ji. You missed many classes. Are you okay? Is everything okay? Maybe you went out of town or something. Yeah, Usha says, you have checked me in, Swamini ji. Yes, that's the whole idea. Check in and never check out. Yeah. Yeah, you were away. Yeah, that's what happened. Okay. Only couple of days? Yeah, I must have missed you because I thought it was longer. Yeah, any other questions here?
Yeah.
Yes.
Can you recommend a good book on Panchadashi to read and understand?
You can't read and understand Panchadashi.
Okay.
Sorry to say that.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay.
8th chapter lectures you have? You have the 8th chapter CD? Did you get? Yeah, you get that. You give her that. And you can listen. Yeah. You can listen to that. And this one also we will, Shobha and her husband, they are managing the publication unit in Atlanta. So this one, they will bring it out. They will bring out this one after this, whatever they are doing. Yeah. Any other question? Did you have your hand up or did I imagine it? I imagined it. Okay. Yeah, this was a good chapter, no?
Yes.
Yeah, it was very good.
That's
yes.
why I got so carried away asking.
Correct. Very nice journey. I'm already missing the classes, Nazira says. No, it will start again. Don't worry. What regular prayer can I do daily for my well-being, protection of mental, physical health? I chant shlokas and stotras. Yeah, the particular one is that one. The Shanti mantra of the Atharva Veda you chant. Not Atharva Veda, the Sama Veda Shanti mantra you chant. Yeah, that I had written it down once. Apyayantu mamangani. It starts like this. You Google it. Apyayantu mamangani. Indian sages were so bold that they were not afraid to go beyond logic and common concepts. common concepts, commonly held concepts. I salute them. Yes, I salute them too. Absolutely. Yeah. So now Thursday, today evening, what class is it? Kaivalya. Why? Bhagavad Gita we are done. Yes. So Kaivalya, tomorrow afternoon also I could have done Kaivalya, but I said let's take one day off. So tomorrow afternoon, evening is there, but afternoon we are taking off. No Kaivalya tomorrow afternoon. Today evening Kaivalya, 6 o'clock. So those who are following Kaivalya and you can't attend the class because of various countries you are in, you please look at the live stream afterwards. Tomorrow evening Kaivalya as usual, and then Saturday Kaivalya marathon. Yeah.